It's on your screen. If you can't see it, I'll read it for you. Quote, see what happens when you start hanging with losers? That SHIT contagious. I've seen Champ lose and still look better than she did tonight. She's referring to Amanda Serrano. But literally, and I mean literally, 5 minutes ago, Claressa Shields tweeted on X, formerly known as Twitter. Oh, I forgot to say end quote on that last one. Sorry about that. So Claressa Shields, she just tweeted on X, formerly known as Twitter. And this is what she said. Quote, she ain't worth it. I ain't no hater. She got roughed up last night, but I'm not going to kick her while she down. Live to fight another day. End quote. Those were the words of Claressa Shields. Now, those tweets are literally within a matter of what, 12 hours apart, you know, something like that. So I don't know if she had a change of heart or a change of mind, but I do want to address something clearly. And this is for Claressa Shields and all professional boxers that's listening to this video. There's two things that I've learned about the sport of boxing that all professional boxers need to take account of. Boxing will humble you, or boxing will humiliate you. Boxing will humble you, or boxing will humiliate you. And I believe that every professional boxer has a choice to decide how boxing is going to treat them. Claressa needs to understand one thing, that the greatest quality, the greatest asset that a woman can possess is humility. Remember, I spoke on this the other day. Y'all remember that? And Claressa really needs to humble herself. And we've seen professional boxers in the past. History has proven this, that when a professional boxer is cocky and arrogant, and I'm not talking about being overconfident, it's a difference, but being cocky and being arrogant and insulting other professional boxers and putting other professional boxers down, they get into a fight and they actually lose. And majority of the time, it's in devastating fashion. And I'm not going to call any names out, but history has shown us this time and time again. You can conduct your own independent research of the times that professional boxers who were arrogant, cocky, and I would like to say condescending in most of their remarks about other fighters, by insulting other fighters, putting down other fighters. And I'm talking about at the time that they were at the pinnacle of their career, where they were on the high mountain, looking down low and not showing humility toward others. We've seen this time and time again. And so my advice to Claressa Shields is to humble yourself. One of the things that I can say that is so true is when you humble yourself, you will be exalted. But if you exalt yourself, you will be humbled. That's a scripture. It's a life principle that I think that all of us, but professional boxers, for the context of where I'm going with this, should really, really embrace that life principle. If you humble yourself, you will be exalted. But if you exalt yourself, you will be humble. And so, yes, Amanda Serrano's performance probably wasn't as entertaining as her last performance in her favor because she scored a knockout in her last performance. But this is boxing. And that's why I always say that the old adage in boxing, you're only as good as your last fight, there is a little bit of truth to that only when you're fighting the same level of competition. In other words, if you're good in your last fight as a professional boxer and you're fighting mediocre competition in your next fight, like you did in your last fight, well, you're supposed to be good. You're supposed to look good. But what happens in your last fight when you fight someone who may not be on the same level as you, experience and skill, right? And then you get in there in your next fight and you're fighting someone who's more experienced than your last opponent. And you're in there fighting with someone who's more knowledgeable and more skilled than your last opponent. Does that old adage still apply? And we've seen this time and time again in the history of boxing, where a professional boxer gets in there with someone, and the next thing you know, they look great. I will give an example. The great former heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. He fought Robert Helenius in Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center a few years ago. Knocked him out. Knocked him out. Not TKO, knocked him out. And I was there at that fight. But then his next fight, Deontay Wilder's next fight, he fought Tyson Fury. And it didn't end well for Deontay Wilder. In fact, he lost in devastating fashion. And so that's why I always stick to the adage of you're only as good as the team around you in boxing. Not you're only as good as your last fight. Every fight should be evaluated individually on a case-by-case basis. We can't ignore the fact that Amanda Serrano fought in her 50th professional bout last night. That's an accomplishment within itself, win, lose, or draw. But Claressa Shields really needs to reevaluate her perspective on how she evaluates boxers and how she make public comments about them and their performances. Because if you want to make a comparison, Claressa Shields fought Kay Scott. And, this is not a knock on Kay Scott at all. But based on Kay Scott's professional experience and skill level, with how great Claressa Shields say she is, Kay Scott should have never even walked out of the first, second, or even the third round, to be quite honest with you. But she walked out of the first, second, third, fourth, and even the fifth round, and almost got out of the sixth round.